Again, welcome everybody who just joined. We were just discussing the test cases, other questions that people had. That's why I joined 30 minutes earlier today, just to provide a feedback about the test cases. In general, everything looks great. So I didn't expect that. You know, usually people do much worse than you did this time. And you did great. Considering the fact that we just had one single lesson, we actually did great in terms of test cases. Most of them were correct, right? So sometimes people combined several test cases into one, but it's absolutely okay for one single lesson. It's absolutely okay. It's great. Okay, so we are done with the test requirements. They are completed. You have your test cases, which should be also completed. Actually, where are my test cases? Let me quickly open them. I actually removed them. Oh, man. Am I able to return the previous version? No, but I will have to actually write something. Okay, so maybe I will open somebody's test cases. I will open somebody's test cases. I don't know who did great, for example. Okay, too big font for me. So let me see Tanya, for example. Tanya, I will copy your test cases. Your test cases, right? And copy them to my empty document. This is just to have an example. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie, so this is what I need. And let me quickly open the presentation that I want to show you about the bug reporting. So remember, what we do is we, all the times, we work on several things as like testers. Let me open actually the first presentation for you as well, so you can refresh your memory. So here it is, right? So this is how our job looks like, right? Remember, you work on the requirements first, then you do test planning based on the requirements. So you need to have them final. You first of all work on them, making sure that they are fully understandable for you. You work with the business analyst, or another person who is responsible for the requirements, and ask questions and just make them complete. You ask questions, make sure that the business analyst improves the documentation, adds the missing information, until the point when you actually have them complete. Usually it's 1-2 days. It's not that long. It's 1-2 days, and that's it. The requirements are complete. Once that is done, developers, they start working on the application, that they start coding based on the requirements, and you start test planning. That's what you do at home. You were creating the test cases, these guys, based on the requirements, right? Then, once the application is ready, it was done, and you have your test plan, you will start testing. And that's what we will start doing today. So today we will start testing. And once we find bugs, we will start reporting bugs, right? So this is our goal, to report bugs. And then what happens next? Developers, they fix those bugs. You check that they are actually fixed or not. And then if they are fixed, you close them, and that's it. You make sure that there are no bugs in the application. And then we are ready to release our first version of the applications to the real customers. So that's how your job, testing job looks like. So we've done with this, with the requirements and test planning. I know that there are some people who just joined the course, because there were some people reaching out to me, hey, I want to join the course. I know that there were 2 lessons already, but you know, guys, you still can watch the recording and do that at your own pace. But we will start with testing and debug reporting today, because everybody who actually participated in the course last week, they actually done with this. They were working on the requirements. Great job, guys. And the test planning was great as well, right? So today we will start testing and reporting bugs. So that's what we're going to do. So before we do that, I want to quickly show you the presentation about bug reporting and what is that, and how to file an ideal bug report. Again, I won't be expecting like ideal bug reports from you, but I want you to at least understand and try. So what is the software bug? The answer is very simple. It's a difference or mismatch, difference between expected result and actual result. So for example, again, oh man, how to close this guy? Okay, so for example, you test your application. So what we're going to do today, we are going to open the application. It was developers said that it's ready, but usually there are some bugs. Even they said that it's ready. You start testing and you find some bugs, and that's what we will be doing. So you open the application and you start testing your test cases. You go to the first one and say, after navigating to the application, user can see 4 sections. If you see 4 sections, you select this and select pass. If you see 3 sections, you make it as fail. And fail means you have a bug report, right? You have a bug. And that's exactly the difference, right? Because you were expecting 4 sections and you see 3. So this is the difference between expected, what you expect from the requirements, and actual, what you have in the application. So this is how it actually works. So whenever you have a difference and you actually mark it as fail, you found a bug. So bug actually is very simple. It's a difference between expected result and the actual result. So that's what the bug is, right? So expected result you get from the documentation, and obviously this will be from your test cases, because your test cases are based on the requirements. An actual result, you get it while testing. While you test, you see actual result. So you have expected, what you expect from the application, and you see actual. If they are the same, like it's supposed to be 4 sections and you see 4 sections, there is no bug, right? If you expect something else and it's different in the application, you have a bug. So obviously, very simple. So whenever you report a bug, whenever you find a bug, you need to report it right away. So developers actually, they start fixing it. So the structure is very simple. This is the example of the bug report in Azure DevOps. Other systems, they can look differently in terms of like layout, UI, how it looks like, but it always has the same structure. So it has short summary, like a short name of this bug report, like in this case, forgot password link is missing on login page, right? Just a short summary, just a short explanation what happened. Then there are steps to reproduce. It's a very important thing. It's just the steps that user has to do to actually see this bug, right? So this is very, very important for those bugs that are hard to reproduce, because sometimes it's very obvious. You just open the application and you see the problem right away. But sometimes you have to do something specific. For example, register a user with incorrect date of birth. So actually you have to go through many steps. You have to actually open the registration form, fill in the data, select incorrect or specific incorrect birth date, and then click submit. And then you will be able to see the problem on another page, right? So the steps can be long in one cases and pretty straightforward in other cases. Something like open the application and take a look at the button, right? And you see the problem right away, because button is yellow and it's supposed to be blue, for example, right? So it actually different, but steps to reproduce is how to get from your basic state. When you open the application, it's called basic state, right? You just open it, fresh, clean sheet, right? So how to get from this state to that place when you see the problem. And then you have actual result, whatever you see in the application, and expected result, what you have in your test cases or the requirements. So actually you have all the information for the bug report already, because here you just mentioned this short explanation of the problem. Here you mentioned how to actually get to that problem, and usually it's very simple. It uses very simple English. We never expect people to write a poem over here, or I don't know, something like very complex. It's usually something like open, click, type, text, whatever, like very, very simple English, very like simple technical English. So please follow that as well, because it actually makes bug better if you use very simple English comparing to the case when you use very complex word, because sometimes developers, from other countries, they are not able to understand you properly, and they're not able then to fix the bug properly. So it's always better to use very simple technical English for this case. Actual result, you observe, so you know actual result because you see application in front of you, and expected, you know how it should work from the requirements. And number 5 is attachments. We usually try to add screenshots and highlight the problem. So even if your description, steps to reproduce are not clear, you always give another chance to developer to understand the problem by making a screenshot and just highlighting the problem on the screenshot. So that's what we usually do. Sometimes when we have very complex bugs, we do even video recordings. For example, there is a complex bug that requires a user to do some specific complex steps to reproduce, and you want developer not to be confused. You just record that video and just share, attach that video to the bug report as well. Okay, as I mentioned, ideal bug report, it's not a poem, it's a simple technical English. It should be very simple and straightforward. It's even better for you, right? Because some people, they are concerned about their level of English, right? And they say, can I do this job if I have very simple English? Yes, you can, because this job is very simple, right? When I started, actually, it was 2013 or 14. It was back in Ukraine, and I actually had very bad English because I used to study German in my school and university. So actually, I learned English from scratch when I started learning QA as well. So my English was very bad. So how I was working with requirements? Google Translate. So Google Translate helped me a lot to actually translate the requirements and understand them, to ask questions. I was actually writing in my native language and translating to English and asking questions just using translations, right? So that's how I started. And I remember times when people were laughing during some meetings with other people from Israel, from the United States, and there were some jokes and people were laughing, and I was just laughing. I was not understanding those jokes, but I was laughing because everybody else was laughing, right? So this is how it works sometimes. People, you don't understand, but you do your best. And QA is very easy to join because you can sit at your computer, and I was working in the office and nobody restricting you of using like Google Translate or something like that, and you just do your best, right? And bug report is very simple in that case because you use very simple English. You just use words like click, drag and drop, switch, type, very maybe 20, maybe 100 maximum different words, and that's all you need for working as a QA. Okay, and it's even makes the bug report better. Again, remember this, because as simple the bug report is, as easier for developer will be to fix it. If you use some complex word constructions and etc., it's always brings some problems. I had one friend of mine, he was working in one of the companies with me, and he had a very good English. And he knew a lot of words. He was reading scientific articles. So he always tried to write some complex sentences in the bug reports. And believe me, developers always had problems with him because they were not able to understand what he meant. And I had problems as well, because sometimes I was retesting his bugs that he reported. And I was just asking him, hey, Dima, what did you mean here? I don't understand, actually. Can you just, use simple words? Why are you using those? Because I know 3,000 words in English. That's why, so never do that. Never. Use simple technical English. That's how it works. Yeah, this is the main. So here I also mentioned few rules that we try to follow. It doesn't work usually from the very beginning. I will share this presentation with you, so it will be available for you, so you can actually base on it when you will be creating your bug reports. But in order to create this short summary, this summary has to answer 3 questions, ideally. What happened? Where it happened? So where in the system? What is the location? And when it happens. So for example, what you need to do in order this to happen. So sometimes you cannot answer some questions because it happens all the times. You open the application, for example, and you see that image is missing. For example, this image, let's say, where are my requirements? So let's say this image is missing, right? You open the application, this image is missing. So what happened? The image is missing. Where? You can say, you may say the location, like in the right top section, or you can say the location as the page, like on the home page, right? So it's up to you. But you mentioned what happened, which is image is missing. this is what happened. And where it happened, you mentioned the location. So developer knows exactly where it happened, right? The location of this image. It actually makes sense, a lot of sense, when you have different such elements. You have the same button with the same name on different pages. So you want to exactly mention on which page it's missing, because developer can go to another page when the button is present and will tell you, hey, I'm not able to reproduce your bug. I'm able to see the button, right? So you want to be clear. So you mention always, you try to always answer 3 questions. What happened, where it happened, and when it happens. In our case, when it happens all the times. You don't have to do anything specific for this to happen, right? So that's why you don't answer a question when, you just say what happened and where it happened. But sometimes when you need to do something specific, right? So for example, get in line, you click it, and you see this form, right? And this form has to be closed in 2 cases, when you click outside or you click cancel. So this form will be closed. Let's say you click outside, it's not closed. So you need to mention what happens, where it happens, and when it happens, right? Because what happens, for example, the case, the registration form is not closed, right? Is not closed. In this case, on the home page, right? Because we don't have any other page. But if you have many pages that you can have a registration form on, then you mention. In this case, the registration form is not open on the home page. And then when, you mention when. Because if you don't mention when, developer will open it, click cancel, it will close, and will tell you, hey, I'm not able to reproduce it. So you need to say when it happens, when you click outside the form, right? Because according to the requirements, it should be closed. And there is a requirement that says that. Disappears if clicked outside the form, right? For example, it disappears, right? But it doesn't disappear. So that's the problem. It doesn't disappear on the home page when you click outside the form. So you answer 3 questions. So that's the ideal case. Again, this is not the strict requirement for you, because again, this is the first course for you, just a 1 lesson. Of course, we have many lessons for this during the main course, but in this case, this is the rule. This is the rule we use in testing to create an ideal bug report. And of course, we try to do better and better and better every time. So at the end, we become professionals, and we actually super cool QAs. Yeah, the best practices that you can follow: summary and steps to reproduce should be short and descriptive. Again, from summary, we also don't expect it to be too long, right? We want to answer 3 questions and be as short as possible. The form doesn't disappear on the homepage when you click outside. That's it, right? So you don't create like several sentences. You just say one short and very like clear sentence. That's your goal. And again, remember, bug report is a difference between expected and actual. So that's the main part. If it's the difference between expected and actual, the difference between them should be super clear. It shouldn't be something like, I don't understand. It should be something that I clearly see as a developer, so I'm able to see the problem and fix it. Attachments, don't forget about them. They will be mandatory in our case. 1 failure, 1 bug report. You don't report a lot of failures in 1 bug, like open the page, like the page is broken, right? You open the page and then see, take a look at the button, take a look at the image, take a look at the table, and you then describe all the problems in 1 bug report. No, 1 problem, 1 bug report. If you create, that's why I told you, you cover every single requirement by separate test case. And at the end, this is how it works for you. When you have 1 failure, you report 1 bug report. That's it. So if you created actually test cases correctly, you will follow this rule automatically, because you will have 1 failure in 1 test case, and you will create 1 bug report automatically because you will have 1 failure, right? So this is how it works. So our process is built on the previous stage. So if you worked on the requirements correctly and you closed all the gaps in the requirements, it will be much more easier to work on the test cases for you, because you will have better understanding what you're testing. And then if you created your test cases correctly, it will be super easy for you to create a bug report because you already you see the problem in the application, you have the test case, you have the expected results, so you have everything for your bug report. You just make a screenshot and report the bug, right? And that's it. So what we're going to do today, we are going to test this application. So we have the application. I will send you this tool. So I'm using this tool for the screenshots, right? So you can install them on the desktop on your computer. This is how I installed. So it's actually available on my computer. Or you can actually install it as a Chrome extension, right? For example, Chrome over here, as a Chrome extension. And it will be just available in your Chrome browser, right? So how it works, you just click on it, take a screenshot, select the area. Are you able to see when I select the area? Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
Yeah? So are you able to see how I draw the arrow?
Yes.
Oh, nice. So this is how it works, right? So you just click it, and this is the screenshot tool. Very simple, actually. You have just few forms that you have. Usually this is how you highlight the problem on the page, put the arrow, sometimes leave a text. Pay attention, or click this, or click this, something like that, right? And then you save it, you can copy it, you can print it, you can share it to Google, you can share the link, you can upload it to the cloud, right? So you have many options. Usually I use either copy and just paste whenever I need, or I save it to my computer using this button and just save it and then attach. Save it on the desktop, for example, and save it on the desktop. And then when I attach it, I download it from the desktop. So this is the tool I'm going to send. So the homework will be shared with you. So in the homework, actually, you have, as you can see, the link to the application. Here's the application, and you will be testing it. Here is the tool to make screenshots. And we have a form for you that you will be using to report bugs. And I will be able to see. So you mentioned your name. Here's the summary. Steps to reproduce, and you can click enter, for example, and it will add more lines, like as much as you need. Then actual result, expected result, and then add attachment. I click, for example, select from the device, I select the screenshot, and upload, right? So I have this screenshot that I just made, right? So this is what you will do. So this will be the homework. Pretty straightforward. So, and whenever you have questions, do not hesitate to ask, please, because this is one problem that I have. People usually shy to ask, but again, you came to this course because you have a reason, right? You have a reason why you joined this course, why you are interested in QA or maybe coding, development, automation. You have that reason. So always remember about this reason. It's the most important thing. So nothing else matters. If you shy, that's not the problem, right? That's not a problem. You have a reason. You have a strong reason why you actually want to graduate from the course, learn a new profession. That's very important. So nothing else matters. You have to go and ask. Use this time. I'm here to help you. I'm here to answer all your questions. You just need to ask them. I love answering questions. Sometimes people think that they will look stupid or whatever, or they don't want to bother me. It's not like that. We have the course to ask questions. This is the first thing that you need to understand. Course is all about making mistakes and asking questions. It's okay to make a mistake during the course, because you don't want to make it in the future on your real job. You want to make it right now and learn from it. And you don't want to sit without knowing something on your real job. You want to know the answer right now. So do not hesitate to ask questions. Do not. Just ask me whenever you have the question. Ask it, and I will answer it to you. Just feel free. Absolutely feel free. I give you this this opportunity to ask questions, as many as you want. Okay. Before I start, so what I want to do next, I want actually to go through the test cases, start testing them, and just, report a few bugs together with you, so you actually can see what I do and base on that once doing your homework. But before I do that, do you guys have any questions? Okay, go ahead.
So you are waiting for this homework bug report through this bug report form. And if I find, for example, 3 bugs, you expect to receive from me 3 bug report forms, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
You report a bug, you submit it. It will give you the message that it was accepted. Then you open this form again and report another one. Yeah, 1 bug, 1 separate form submit. You need to submit as many forms as bugs you found. Yes, Oksana.
Okay. Before we start to work with bug reports, so do we need to fix test cases? For example, I have a couple of mistakes. So what should I do at first?
What kind of mistakes did you have? Like about what? Like the requirements or what kind of?
So, I'm just a couple of these cases, I just made a one big group. So maybe
Yes.
I need to, make separately test cases, or
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's always better to like make separate test cases. So if you want to fix them, you can fix them. I will not require this from you. I won't check this from you because you still have to complete your homework here on the JavaScript course, so you didn't have enough time. So I won't be like pushing you to do that. So what you can do, you can just understand, even if you have 3 requirements covered in 1 test case, and you find 3 bugs there, you report 3 separate bugs. Because at this time, I already saw your test cases. I want to see your bug reports, right? And see how you report bugs right now. So this is how it works. So you don't have to, but if you want to fix them, yes, it will be beneficial for you to fix them and have them clear.
Okay, thank you.
But this is not something that I will like require from you. Okay. So yeah, let's actually start testing. So remember, the 3 things that you need to do. You will have this link to the application. So this is the application that we've built. This is our application. Actually, it's not at that. Yeah. Inspect. I will show you how to inspect. Yeah. Oh, thanks. I just forgot that I need to mention that as well. So this is what I'm going to do. So I have my application here. And usually what I do, I put my test cases on the left like this, on the left like this. And, just start executing them one by one and see how the application looks like. And I just test it. This is how I do this. Okay, maybe I will make it smaller. Can I make it smaller? Oh, why it's so wide? Let me actually make it like this. So I have it a little bit bigger. Still not too big. Okay, so now I actually see that partially. Maybe a little more. Yes, like this. Maybe make the application smaller. Yeah. So first of all, what I see, so this is how you test it. I usually do it like this. If you have 2 screens, nice. It's all very nice. I have my laptop screen that I have my meeting on right now, and I have my other screen connected monitor that I use for my work right now, and you see my monitor right now. So this is what I usually do. If you have 1 screen, you just split it into 2 pieces. You open the application on one side and your test cases on the other side. So you can compare right away. This is how I do this, right? You can do this differently. You may have a computer with 3 screens. So you can put the test cases on 1 screen. You can put your Slack on 1 screen, and you can put your application on the 3rd screen. So you can see Slack notifications, you have your test cases, you have your applications, everything on many screens, and usually more screens you have, the easier your life, especially in QA and development as well. Usually we in IT, we like a lot of monitors to have. So for example, currently on my desk, I have 2 laptops and 2 monitors. So I have 4 screens in general, right? 2 laptops, 2 computers, and 2 monitors as well. So this is how I work. And more screens you have, the easier your life is in IT. Just to let you know, just to be prepared, that you need to have more monitors. Okay, and then, very simple. You go one by one. After navigating to the application, user can see 4 sections. Yeah, I can see them. I know exactly what sections I'm talking about because I was working on the requirements. I was working on the test cases. So exactly, I know those are the 4 sections. The text area is located in the top left top, correct, plus. The image is located top right, yes. Table is located in the bottom left, yes. Get in line button, yes. The text area consists of 3 lines. Actually, no. What I've noticed when I was changing my screen, it's actually single line. But since the image has specific size, I see that it's pushing the text into the 2 or 3 or even more lines. But this is all about being 1 line. So actually, it's not 3 lines, right? So here, it's not 3 lines. So I actually go and mark it as fail. And now I go and report the bug, right? So let me put my bug report form over here and my application over here. So a reporter is Arthur Senka. Or I forgot one, Arthur Senka. Summary. What is the problem? The text area exists only from 1 line. Okay? And where? You can set it on the home page. On the home page. On the home page. The home page, or you can even skip this, because if we have 1 page, nobody cares, right? You won't confuse anybody because we have 1 single text area. If you say the text area, everybody knows what you're talking about. So if logically, it's all about logic. There is no rule in IT in this case. It's all about your logic. If logically you think, hey, there is only 1 text area, right? So if I say text area, I don't have to mention location because everybody knows the location of the text area, right? Everybody has to know because there is only 1 text area. But sometimes you have text area on this page, text area on the next page, text area on the dot page. So we have a lot of text areas. So in that case, you have to mention a specific page you're testing because developer can be confused, right? Yes, Eli, do you have a question?
Yeah, so like, what do you do? There's like multiple text areas in a single page. Like, how do you like differentiate them in the bug report?
Then you will have some differentiation in requirements right away, right? In the requirements, there will be described like text area number 1, text area number 2, or one thing will be title, the second thing will be description. So they will have different names, even in the requirements. So you will know the difference right away. Or maybe you have text area over here and text area over here. Then yes, then you will say the text area in the left top corner. In that case, yes, you will mention the location because you have text area here and text area here. Got it?
Okay, thank you.
So yes, that's the reason when you actually use the location or not. In this case, we wouldn't have to use it because obviously we have 1. The text area consists only from 1 line. When you change let's say if the resolution is bigger than, let me actually inspect it and just make sure what is the resolution that I get. For example, the resolution more than 1500 pixels. If this screen resolution more than 100 pixels. For example, like this, right? So, or very complex. You think maybe it's complex for you. You see that it's not. You can say the text area does not consist from 3 lines. This is what you expect from 3 lines. When you change the size of the browser, when you change the size of a browser, this is more clear because you change the size of the browser, it doesn't consist of 3 lines. It's just different amount of lines. So here's the problem, right? So here's the problem. The text area does not consist of 3 lines. So here, this answers the question, what happened? You expect it to consist of 3 lines, but it doesn't consist of 3 lines. So this is how you answer the question, what? Then where it happens, you skip because obviously it's a one thing. But again, you mention it when it can be confusing, when there is another text area on this page, or there are other text areas on other pages. You need to mention the page exactly you're testing it on, and so on. In this case, we can skip. We have one page and we have only one text area. And then when it happens, so what you need to do that to happen, because if developer opens this application in the right resolution, developer won't be able to actually reproduce the bug. So if developer has such a screen resolution, for example, using the laptop, developer won't be able to reproduce it if you don't mention specifically. So it happens when you change the size of the browser. Because maybe developer actually didn't see this problem because was developing this code on the laptop. So actually on the developer's laptop, it looks great. So developers thought, okay, it works. And that's why developer told you that it's working correctly, go and test. So that's exactly the reason why we mentioned this here. And let me tell you the secret. This is something that only just few people know and understand. And you will be the ones who will know this as well. All those rules, everything, why we work on the requirements, why we actually try to make the test cases covering every single requirement, why we create such bug reports in details and using specific rules. Because everything we do about saving resources and money for the company and make the processes better. Imagine the case when you didn't work on the requirements. They have still some gaps, some incompleteness, some ambiguities, some contradictions, and etc. As I mentioned, we usually split those requirements into separate tasks for separate developers. So developers, they work on separate pieces of this application, but not the application as a whole. They work on their separate piece of this application. And there is a contradiction. In one place, it says button yellow. In another place, it says button blue. You would catch it, but you never work on the requirements. One developer will implement it blue. Second developer will be working on its piece. And in that piece of the requirements, it says yellow. So another developer will just see, okay, somebody created the button, but with incorrect color, and will change the color of the button to yellow, which is incorrect. And that's all of that is because you didn't work on the requirements. What happens next? First of all, developer created a bug that you will have to find and report. So you will report it, developer will have to work on it, read it, understand it, then fix it, then assign back to you. You will have to actually open that bug report again and make sure that it's blue now and it's not reproduced. If it's reproduced, you will assign back to developer and it will have to fix it again. And again, you will have to test it until it's fully fixed and you just close it. So imagine one single gap, one single color problem in the requirements caused so much time spent by the team. And the company paid you for your job, paid developer for his job, and how much time you just wasted right now just working on this simple bug. And imagine if there are like hundreds of bugs. So how much time you just waste just on working on the bugs that you could prevent working on the requirements. So when you work on the requirements, when you look for those problems in the requirements, you try to prevent problems in the future. Because if the requirements will be clear, it will be clear for you to create test cases and test the application having better understanding how it works. And for developer, it will be absolutely the same. Better understanding how it should work and less bugs in the application. So you won't waste time, and you will spend time on completing more work at the end than just wasting your time on those bugs that you could prevent. Same with bug reports. We follow those rules to make the bug report super clear for developer and for the tester, because sometimes your bugs are tested by other people. So they have free time, you're still testing something else, and they have time, and then they go and test some bug reports that you reported and developers fixed. And if you create not clear bug report and something is unclear, developer will have questions and will come to you, and you will be discussing that bug report, and it will developer will waste a lot of time just trying to reproduce your bug and fix it. And another person who will be testing your bug report may also have questions for you because won't be able to understand your bug completely. That's why we try to make the bug report as clear as possible, with very clear steps to reproduce and directions what to do, adding the screenshots so people have better understanding what they need to do and where is the exactly bug. Sometimes it's obvious, you just see it right away. But sometimes, like in this case, you need to mention that you need to change the size of the browser. Because if you don't mention that, developer will just maybe not able to reproduce it, opens this application on the laptop, it works correctly, 3 lines, developer tells it, okay, I was not able to reproduce it. But developer already wasted time trying to open your bug, read it, and trying to reproduce it, open the application, right, and etc. Developer wasted time to answer the question, to leave a comment for you, right, saying that I was not able to reproduce it. Then you will try it again and see you're able to reproduce it. You assign back to developer saying I'm able to reproduce it. Here is the screenshot, and you will have that back and forth conversation until developer realizes that you need to change the size of the browser. And again, you waste time because of one single problem, because you didn't mention that you need to change the browser. And that's why we have those rules. We always try to answer 3 questions when creating the summary, which is what happened, where happened, and when happens. And this is the exact reason. Because in that case, if you try to follow that rule, you will always try to create as best as possible summary that you can create, right? So it will be clear, more clear for the developer. So in general, you will save time for the company, for yourself, for your colleague who will be testing this bug after you, for the developer who will be fixing it and reading it and trying to reproduce and fixing it, and etc. So this is how it works. You just try to save money, resources, to improve processes, and etc. in general. And this is why your work is not just to test the application. Your work is to improve processes and be smart enough to understand why you do this. And believe me, this is what I told you right now. You won't hear anywhere else. This is something that just few people understand. Really, just few people understand. Most of people, they just learn those rules as robots and they just follow them without understanding what they do and for what. And what happens after some time, they just forget about following these rules because they don't understand why. And they just start, having worse and worse processes. They waste more time and spend more time on unnecessary things. And that's exactly what I want you to understand. Everything that we do, there is a logic behind it. There is a specific logic why we do this. And in most of the cases, the answer is we try to improve processes and we try to save money and resources for the company. And if you show this understanding during the interview process, believe me, you will be the one who they will hire, because 99.99% of people on the market, other QA people looking for the job, they don't understand this. They just blindly following some rules they learned from the books, from the internet, from the videos, and they just don't understand why this is like that. What I want you to understand, why we do this and what is the logic behind it. So when you answer questions, you're not like a robot. You actually like a human with logic and explaining other people and even teach them. Because believe me, developers don't know that. Like project management don't know that. So your goal at work will be also to teach other people, to tell them, hey, QA job is not only about testing. And let me explain you how it works. Because most of developers, most of people, even in project management, they think that testers are just for testing, right? And you need to explain them as well that, hey guys, QA, quality assurance, is not testing. It's not equal to testing. It's quality assurance. We assure quality on the project. And this is how it works. And if you give them example with the requirements, how you working on the requirements help to improve the processes, save time and the money for the company, and not affecting only your work, but development team work as well. You give them example with the bug report, oh man, you will be key person on the project after that. But of course, you need to understand that. If you have this understanding, you can explain it to other people, and then believe me, they will think that you're like super mega mind and super professional, because this is not something that other people know and do. Okay, so let's get back to our bug report. So we created this summary answering 2 questions: what happened and when it happened, so under which circumstances. In this case, when you change the size of the browser. We didn't answer the question where, because obviously we have only one text area, right? We may mention in the left top corner, you may mention, but it will make the summary longer, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep it as short as possible, right? And especially in this case, I know exactly that everybody knows where the text area is, so I'm okay with that. So then you go to steps to reproduce and things. So what should I do once I go to the application? I reload the application, I open it. So what I see the text area right away. So what I need to do, open the app. Everybody know the link, and take, oh no, that's not the case. Resize the browser window. Resize the browser window, and then take a look at the text area. Again, remember, if I forget to mention resize the browser window, which I was about to do, right? I just forget about it, which is I was about to do. If I forget mention this, developer may open this application on the laptop screen and it won't be reproduced. Developer will see 3 lines. But in order to reproduce this, you need to resize the browser and show that it's not 3 lines. So I can do like this, for example, it will be 5 lines. I can do like this, it will be 1 line, right? This is important. So we need to mention what exactly to do to reproduce this bug. So open the app, you open it. This is usually the first step all the times. Open the app, this is the first step, and then do something next. Resize the browser window and take a look at the text area, right? You take a look at it and you see that it changes from 1 line to 5. Actual result, the text area. So what is the problem? Text area can be from 1 to 5 lines, depending on the size of the screen. Can be from 1 to 5 lines, depending on the size of the browser, right? And what is the expected result? I have it in my test cases. It should be 3 lines, all the times 3 lines. Yeah, always should consist of 3 lines. Yeah, that's it. And let me just create a screenshot. So what I usually do, take a screenshot. Oh, this is not the correct resolution, so let me cancel it, like this, for example. Like this. I will do like this, right? I will make a screenshot of this page. We'll actually put the line over here. Under this, we'll put an arrow like this. And then I save it. save it, text area. So I save it on my desktop. Then I add file to the screenshot from here and text area. Open it and upload. That's it. Then my bug report is done. I just submit it. Okay, and then submit another response. If you have another bug, submit another response, and then you go, here you go again. The first line there is. So actually what happens next, I cannot test these test cases. Oh man, what happened to I cannot test this one because since this failed, right? This failed, I just skip this 3. I will test them when my developer will fix this bug because this is actually not working fine. This is not working fine. It's not 3 lines. So obviously, logically, I cannot test that the first line is there is because it's not. And I already have a bug for that. So I will test it once my developer will fix it. Because what developer can do, actually, developer can create 3 lines, but it will be like this. There are 3, and 3 will be in this line. So we still wait for the developer to fix, and then we will test this. X means the number of people in the line. So I can test this, actually. 3 is here, and it equals to this. Yeah, that's pass. I cannot test the 3rd line. The text is left aligned. Yeah, so I can definitely see, so it's not aligned on the right. There's line breaks over here, but it's aligned on the left. Yeah, so actually it's correct. Oh, and now, a very interesting topic. So how do you actually test this? The color, the font family, and etc. Again, I will not pay attention if you cannot test that. It's okay to skip this, but I will show you how, because I want you to know more, especially if you can understand this. So in web applications, we often use the inspector tools. So the Chrome development tools. So when you do a right click, you always have inspect. And we use Chrome. So mostly we use Chrome. So if you don't use Chrome, I suggest you to use Chrome because it's the most popular browser in web development. It just has nice tooling. You know, it has a big development community. So that's why we use Chrome, because it's very helpful for the testers and developers to actually develop the web applications. So what we do, you do the right click in any position, right click, and click inspect. Inspect will open elements, which is HTML. This is what you learned with Stan, HTML. And you can expand some sections and close them, right? So as you can see, right? And there is a CSS. So those are styles, are CSS. So there are some styles that apply. So how you select specific elements? So we are looking for the family of the text is the text area. So you click this icon over here, and you're able to find elements, right? As you can see the size of the image over here, the button, the table. You just need to select the correct element. So here I'm testing my text. I click on it, right? I clicked on it, and it selected it, as you can see, right? It selected this HTML. So again, click on it, and then I see this style. So let's actually test. So the font family, you just need to see if it's included in the font family here. Segoe UI. So it's here. I can see it over here. Also, you can go to compute it. So styles, they sometimes show the styles, but some of them are crossed. Font size, you see font size, it's crossed. Why? Because there is another style that overrides this font size 50 pixels overrides this one. So computed tab will always show you the end result. The end result of the font size, the end result of the color, the end result of the font family, and everything else, right? So computed is the first place you start with. So in this case, I start with computed. So what I see font family, Segoe UI is included. Yeah, so that's how I mark it pass. Then font size is 50 pixels. Font size is 50 pixels. You can actually expand this or click this arrow, and it will lead you to the styles and to the exact style that applied for. As you can see, this one, but this is just a nice thing to know. But again, you try always to get to computed first. So again, your steps. You go to the screen, you click inspect, then you select this element inspector, and you look for the element you're looking for, like for the button, or in this case, we are testing the text. Click on the text, and then go to computer. And then you will see all the things for the text, right? So see the Seago UI, 50 pixels, and then the color is RGB 103, 58, 183. Yeah, actually it's matching. So both are these test cases are matching. Okay, the image size is static. So let's check it. So how to check it? Let me actually find this image. I will select it, compute it, and let me actually see. So right now it's 600 by 336, right? Let me change the size of the window. What is the size right now? It's still the same. Okay. So seems like, yes, seems like it's static and it's the same width all the times. Yeah, so seems like it works. So let me actually mark it as pass, 600 pixels here. In this case, you can note that the image is 336 and 0.33. So this is actually, it's up to you. Since logically our application is not that precise, we are not measuring every pixel, so you can ignore this. But if you're not sure, you can always ask a question. You can say, hey guys, the requirements say 336 pixels, and I'm measuring it's 336.33. It's not that big it's not that problem, because it's third of the pixel. It's not even 1 pixel difference. It's third of the pixel difference. So it's not the big deal. But you always can ask the developer. So usually you have a chat, like we have a chat for a free course. Usually you have also chat for the entire team. There are developers, business analysts, testers in the same chat. And usually some general questions you always ask there, just in that chat. Yeah, so this is what you do. If you're not sure, you ask a question. In our case, logically, you can even ignore, because as you can see, we are not testing every single distance between elements, every single pixel. So we are not that precise, especially for this simple application. So I can actually ignore it and just pass. The table is left aligned. Yes, the table is left aligned. Awesome. Pass. The left part of the table is aligned with the text area. Actually, no. So it's a failure. As you can see, it's not, right? So what I will do, I will make a screenshot right away. Make a screenshot. And what I will do, I will put such line like this, probably, and just showing like the difference. Yeah, looks good. Then I will save this like table alignment. Table alignment. Yeah, and the desktop. And I will go and start reporting the new bug. So so let me actually, what I can do, I can copy this test case. So reporter Arthur Senko, summary. The left part of the table is not aligned with the text area. And that's it. I didn't mention, so I answered one question, what happened? Which is the table is not aligned with the text area, right? And I didn't mention where it happens, because the same reason as the previous bug, because all of that is on this page, right? That's why I didn't mention it. We always know that there is only one table. In this case, again, remember, if there are several tables, if there are several text areas, so you have to mention exactly what you mean, so nobody is confused, you mention. In this case, or in other case, when you are sure that nobody can be confused and everybody know where is the table, where is the text area, and there is no confusion with other pages, then you actually don't need to mention the location. So I didn't mention the location, and I didn't mention when it happens, because as I see, it happens all the times. It's always shifted to the right, always, in any screen. So I just open the application and I see the problem right away. So I don't have to do anything. So the question when is always, so I don't have to answer that as well. So in this case, I just answered question what happened. So steps to reproduce. Open the app. And the second thing, just compare the alignment of the text area and the table. And that's pretty much it. I just compare them, and I will also have a screenshot, very nice screenshot for developers to see and see the difference, right? So actual result, the table and the text area are not on the same line, right? And the expected, the text and the table and the text area are on the same line. Probably I usually do like this, are not in uppercase, so everybody clearly see, not are on the same line. That's pretty much it. So there is a clear understanding what we need to do, and I will just table alignment. Here's my screenshot, upload, and that's it. I go next, submit another form. I go back to my test cases. Again, general table properties. Okay, let's test this table. Inspect. I select this. I select the table like this. Compute it. Font size. Interesting. Elevation table. So how to select the table correctly? Yeah, this is not a table. Okay, so sometimes, as you can see, you need to play with the HTML. So I will go, you need to find the table over here, the table. You can see table tag selected. Now let me see to compute it and see. So font size 1 rem, actually. And here we expect 14 pixels. It's a failure, right? It's a failure. And then I go and report the bug as well. And then I check the text font color in the table. The text font color. Actually, there's something is different here. Okay, let me actually check when it's applied. When is the different text applies? Oh, actually, it works here. Oh. So yeah, don't care about table. Select the individual cells to see what you need to expect from in terms of like color and the size. As you can see, it's correct. Actually, the size is correct and the color is correct when you select individual. And I see how developers did that. I see that they define color on the cell level. So I selected the cell and the color is defined here. So probably they define the color not on the table level, but on the individual cell level. And this is what is possible. So requirements may say that everything in table should be this color and this size. So logically, I think it's like probably easier to apply this style to the entire table, and the entire table will have this font size and this color. But sometimes developers end up with applying that style to every individual cell, like they did in this case, which is not logical for me, but this is how they did, right? And I need to make sure that it's correct. So I see that, right? I select this cell and I see that color is this, which is correct. So actually, it's not a failure; it's pass, and it's pass as well. The table consists of table header, right? This is header, which consists of 3 cells, has the 3 cells, and etc. So you go one by one, guys, and you report all the bugs you can find. That's pretty much it. That's what we do today for the bug reporting. Again, you have a link in the homework. You have a tool that you need to install to make screenshots. And you have a link to the forum that you need to report bugs to. And again, don't hesitate to ask any questions that you may have, and I will be answer them in the chat. Again, remember, this is just a free course, just for you to try the profession and see what the testers do on the jobs, right? And again, remember, so of course, you need to learn more. This is just a high-level knowledge. There are other rules that we use for the bug reporting. There are other rules that we use for creating the test cases, and it's much more to learn. But I mean, like, always remember, because what people usually do, they just stress, oh man, how I'm going to inspect this element, how I'm going to do this. Relax. This is all about you trying, asking questions, have fun. Relax and have fun, because this is all about you trying this course and just, having fun and just trying to understand what you're going to do. Because once you learn this profession and once you find the job, will be your daily job. And it's very simple. Once you learn this and you start doing this, it's very simple. It's not like, you moving huge stones or, installing tiles or working on the siding outside when there is a heat or whatever, right? You just work in the office, clicking on your keyboard, reading the requirements, creating the test cases, reporting bugs. It's simple, very simple. Yeah, so your homework will be actually execute your test cases, go one by one, and report bugs. Very, very simple job. And that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions? Go ahead, Taras.
Hi. Actually, I have 3 questions. I don't know, do we have enough time for that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first 2 questions from first lesson. First lesson had name requirements, and actually I expected to hear requirements for computer, because my computer getting old and I'm gonna change it, and I would like to know what computer I should buy for cover all needs for your course.
So any new computer, if you even buy some new computer, you go to any store and you buy just new laptop, just new, it will be fully enough for the course. Because what we use is just the web applications. We test web applications. All the processes right now are managed in web applications. So, for example, if you find the job and you work remotely, as most of the people do right now, everything right now in the cloud, everything in online. So you just log into like Facebook, right? Like imagine Facebook. You log into Facebook, you're able to go to a specific page over there, and etc. So same there. So for example, if we use Azure DevOps that I was just showing you at the beginning for the test cases. So Azure DevOps, you just online. You just log in. You have place for the requirements there. You have a page for bug reporting. You have a page for test cases. You have a page developers. They have page for code. They have page for automation. They have page for everything else. So everything is online in the browser. So actually, you don't have to install like 3D tools or something like that on your computer. So there is no like a lot of requirements for the laptop. It's usually any new laptop like 2022 will work as better than anything else, right? So it's fully enough for the course and for work as well. I personally prefer Mac for that, because I switched to Mac when I joined Apple. Before that, I was just Windows only. But once I joined Apple, I started using Macs and I started using Apple products. And what I figured out, even doing the courses, there is usually less problems with installing tools. You just install and they work on Mac. On Windows, you need to install a specific browser, you need to install specific driver, you need to install additional tool, you need to install something else. There is a codec missing or something like that. So you have a lot of problems with just installing some other tools for the course to make that one thing work. On Mac, it's simpler, but Mac is usually more expensive. But anyways, even minimum configuration, just any new laptop, any Mac with minimum configuration will work for the course, because we don't do anything like super heavy, no 3D modeling or something like that, just regular web application tools and etc.
And also for test optimization? Same
thing. Yeah, the code is very light. Code, automation, front-end development, any development work, it doesn't require super professional laptop. Just any laptop, any new laptop will work because it's all text. Coding is text. Text is very light, right? It's not 3D graphic or something like that. So any laptop that can play the video, can actually open the web pages, can support high-speed internet, everything will work. That's all you need.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question about requirements, functional requirements. So it's like a little bit complicated question. In that moment, when I read functional requirements and I see some description and I can understand it like this or like that, so not exactly, it's not clear for me, but I supposed to be sometimes there are some rules, some tradition in similar points in application. So I understand, but it can be not clear for developer. So do you understand me? So
yeah.
Should I comment this moment to the business analyst?
Yeah, whenever something isn't clear, it's always better to ask. Even sometimes business analyst will just explain you the answer. So maybe the requirements are correct, but you just don't understand them, right? And business analyst will just explain you how it works, and same explanation will be provided for the developer, and that will be the answer. That will be the solution. Just business analyst will just provide the explanation so you guys understand. Because again, the final goal that we need to achieve is just to get understanding, right? That's why we work on the requirements. So everybody has understanding, developers and testers. So we both have understanding how it works, and that actually prevents bugs. So there is no like specific process that we need to do, that the requirements are super ideal, so we even understand them, but we still need to fix them. No, we don't bother like business analysts too much. We don't want business analysts to feel stressed and feel us as an enemy. Oh, those ugly guys who come every sprint and make me like rewrite my requirements, right? We don't want business analysts to feel like that, right? So you always ask question, but sometimes it's just business analysts will just explain you how it works, right? Because it's okay to not understand something, but we don't want to bother business analysts like to change everything that you want, or just make him or her just to like, I don't know, to track all the changes in the requirements. Because sometimes if you don't understand and explanation is enough, that's it. You just say, okay, got it, and you just resolve your comment, right? So it depends on the moment. So again, you always try to be friendly with the business analyst. You ask questions whenever possible, and that's how it will be working. Because if you will be friends with business analyst, that person will be always happy to answer any of your questions. That person will become your friend, and you will be asking just any questions. Like your friend, you can ask any question. Your friend, you can ask your mom or your relatives any questions, right? Same here. Business analyst will be just your friend, and you will be able to ask any questions. Do not hesitate to do that. So yes, when you're not clear, you still ask questions.
I'm asking, but I'm not asking to change requirements, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you ask questions, a question, and it depends actually on the answer. And it's all about, there is no rule. It's just your logic. You logically try to understand. Is this something that we need to actually describe because it still may be confusing, or not? Oh, it's clear. I finally get it. So it's clear now. It's actually described well. I just didn't understand it properly first. So yeah, no changes required. Now I just understand everything, and that's it. So it really depends on the answer, how you actually read the answer, and then you try to think, is that should be updated or not? And it's up to you to ask or not, right? Because you're the person checking the requirements. You're that person thinking, we need to change it or not.
Okay, thank you. And the third question is about today's lesson. When you did test cases today, So you did step by step, and after the 7th line, you found the fail. And after that, 2 more steps you decided don't do because it's not
3.
3. Yes.
Need to move this to.
Yes.
I need to move. Okay.
And you are gonna wait when developer will fix it, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So from your experience, how it's better to do when you receive feedback from developer and he will fix it. It's possible that situation that some other steps will be wrong, some other crashes will are. So and you mark them already like passed. So what is better to do?
That's a very good question, actually. So there is a specific testing type that we do at the end of this sprint. It's called regression testing. And regression testing is aimed to make sure that everything that we were fixing didn't break anything else that we already tested. So actually, so at this time, you don't care about that. Because you just will. I decided to not test these 3 lines because I cannot test. I cannot right now make sure that the first line is right, because it's broken. It's obviously broken. And I reported a bug for that. I reported a bug for that in this line, that the text area consists of 3 lines. I reported a bug, so it's broken. So I will be only able to test the correct implementation, that the first line is this, the second line is this, and the third line is this, once developer fixes this. That's why I skipped that. That's answering the first part of your question. That's why I skipped that. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Then yes, possibly when we fix some bugs, we can break something else. It is possible, and it is happening. So for that, we have testing type called regression testing. Usually we try to automate that and run that in automation at the end of the sprint. So when we tested everything, we closed all the bugs. So at the end, before saying we are ready, we run that test. That usually tests everything that we had before. And if we break something, it will catch it. So there is a testing type, but it's not the topic of today's lesson, but it's a very logical and good question. And yes, we think about that, and we have a specific testing type to catch those problems that we can potentially break. Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay, then you may have questions later. It's okay. Just don't forget that you have a full right and full power to ask me those questions in the chat. Do not hesitate. Do not waste this chance. Again, remember, you have this chance. You have this opportunity to get this course, take this course. Please, use me. I'm your slave for these 3 weeks. Yeah, you like 2 more weeks left, this week and the next one. So feel free to ask me any questions. So thank you for participating, and enjoy your homework. And tomorrow is the coding lesson. Next week we have automation lesson and like job market overview lesson, what's going on the market right now, and just prepare any questions that you have about job search, about resume, about how it works. Any questions, just prepare for that last lesson, because last lesson will be you asking a lot of questions about job search, resume, interview process, background checks, whatever, right? What we do with the experience, all of that. Just prepare your questions, and I will be answering all of them during the last lesson. So that's the plan. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being awesome team. Thank you for completing your homework. If you're watching this in the recording, you can still submit your homework. I will, at the end of the course, I will actually give you some specific date that you can submit your homework to till that day. If you do that, you still qualify for the discount. That's how it works. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed, especially those who are just learning this profession and just thinking if this is something that they would like to do in the future. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Bye-bye. No problem.